Okay, the next thing I want to go through is how to use the rubric grading features that are new to Google Classroom. And for this one, you also have to sign up through their beta program for it, and I will give you the link to that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Classwork as a teacher, and I'm going to go to Create an Assignment, and I'm going to call this Sample Lab Report. And I would normally want this to go to all my students in multiple classes, but since this is just a practice, I am going to just go to my one practice student. And I'm going to put a number of points. I could put the due date and all that if I want to. I'm going to click on Originality Reports, and I am going to click on the rubric, and I have to create a rubric. And you can either use rubrics that you already have, or you can write them and type them in here, or what I'm going to do is I'm just going to find a sample rubric for this to try to show you how you would do it from an existing rubric. So I'm going to look for a scientific lab report rubric. And let me see what I got here. I'm just going to look through a couple of these. Introduction, materials and methods, conclusion. Let me see what else I can find here. Okay, I'm going to use this one. It's pretty simple and straightforward. I'm not crazy about the exceptional through poor categories, but on my own, I can change those to whatever I want them to be. So I'm just going to use this as a sample. All right, so to do that, and you can do split tabs if you want to. I have like a split tab app here, but I don't know if I have that working right now. So what I'm going to do is I am going to start putting in the criterion here. And so the first one is going to be the introduction. And then, let me see if I can get the split tabs to work. I don't know why those aren't working, but I'll just go back and forth. It's not a big deal. And my first criterion is my introduction. And I'm going to put my points at 4 for the first level. And that level was called exceptional. So I'm going to cut and paste that in there, or I can type it, doesn't matter. And then my first level for the exceptional description is that your introduction. Okay, I'm going to copy that and put that in there, and then I'm going to go on to my next one. And you notice that it says descending, so that point level is going to be 3, but if I change this to ascending, all it does is flip them. So it's nice that if you, depending on which format you want to use, you can flip it. And then, let's see here, just they use satisfactory, and the description here. I'm just going to do a couple of these super quick. And then 2, and then 2 is unsatisfactory. That goes in the description. Again, I'm not crazy about those. I wouldn't use them myself, but you get the idea. And then my last one is going to be the level 1. And then, again, I would not use poor, but okay. And then what's nice is you can go to add a criterion and start typing it again. You can make it the same or different number of points, but you can go to this one here that says duplicate criterion. So it's nice because it'll leave everything the same, and then you could just change the things that need to be changed. The next thing on my rubric here was experimental hypothesis. So I'm going to go ahead and paste that in. I'm going to leave my 4 and these the same, and then I can just highlight these and cut and paste over them. And I'll do that hopefully quick here. And the nice is because you could do select all, and it's just going to select what's in that part. So for, like, if I do select all here, I get the whole thing, and so I just have to highlight what I want. But on the Google Classroom rubric side of it, you could just Control A or Command A and you get the whole thing selected, so it can kind of speed things up for you. Okay. And I said this was going to be out of 12 points, so I'm just going to do one more level after this. Obviously, you can make this rubric as small or as large as you need it to be. And then I'm going to duplicate my criterion again, and I'm going to change that to whatever the next level is. So that's going to be materials, and I'm going to then keep those two rows the same and just cut and paste over these. And then you'll be all set for creating, you know, how to create the rubric now in Classroom, and then I'll show you the side for how it would be used as both a student, from the student side and the teacher side. Place those in here. Okay, and then my last one here. Okay. Okay, so that looks good. Again, I would normally make that to be bigger for this particular assignment, but I'm good to go there. So now you do have to make sure that you hit save for it to be saved in there, and I could click on it and see it and make adjustments if I need to. All right, so, and the students are going to have to create their work in your in Classroom, or upload one of their documents that they own, at least for you to work for your originality reports. So I'm going to go ahead and assign that to my class. Okay, and then I'm going to go in and sign in as this student. And the student will see their Google Classroom, and when they click on this, they're going to see their assignment, their assignment was sample lab report. And what's nice is they can see their rubric, what they're, and I like this, that you can just hide it and look at one category at a time if you want to. So before they're even graded, they can see what their grading criteria are. And of course we do that with, you know, paper rubrics or documents, but it's nice that everything is all on the one assignment so they can see it. You could see it. All right. And so this student is going to upload their lab report. So they're going to go to add or create, and they can either go from their drive or they can create a new one that is associated with this assignment. This particular student has their work already made in their drive. So this is their lab report, and it takes, okay, so there's a lab report, and they can run an originality report, or they could just go ahead and turn it in. So if they turn it in without running their originality report, which is not recommended, you will see that if they want to still run the originality report or make any changes to it, just like any Google Classroom assignment, they have to unsubmit it. And they could just unsubmit it to make those changes. And now they can see they can run their originality report. And so when they run it, they only get 3 times to do this per assignment. So if they run their originality report and they can make changes, they can only do that 3 times. So it says it's running the originality report. Depending on how long the document is, of course, it might take a little bit longer, but it's actually really fast. So within like 2 minutes, the originality report will be ready to go. And they can look at it, and you can look at it. So if I was this student, what I would do, just to kind of model the new originality reports, remember they are separate beta products, so you have to sign up for them separately to gain access to them, and then after you're approved, after a couple days, that's what it took for mine, then you will be able, these features will be in your Google Classroom. All right, so view the originality report, and I mean, most of this looks pretty good. It says it's flagging 3 passages. A lot of them are just the references, but you can click on this little pie graph and it'll tell you the percentage, 3% flagged content. This looks pretty good. I mean, it just depends on what your individual requirements are. They can look through which passages are flagged, and then they can go ahead and submit their work. So that brings up a separate document, the originality report. So they go back to their tab here, and then they could turn it in. And then I'll just show you what it looks like on your end, and then you'll be good to go to use this. So I'm going to sign out as this student, and I'm going to sign back in as the teacher. And I am ready to grade some work here. And I'm going to click on that class, and I see my sample lab report. My one student has turned it in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that student work, and you can see that their originality report. I just want to make this a little bit bigger so you can see it a little bit better. Okay, so it says 3 flag passages, and it brings up the originality report just like it does for the student looking at it. That's a separate tab. Oh, I thought it was a separate tab. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe I could have went back. Okay. At any rate, I'm going to click on their work again, and I saw the originality report already. And then to see the rubric, you have to go to this grading tab. And what's nice is it can, you know, if you already know your criteria, you could just go, oh, that's a 3, that's a 4, etc. You could type it in, you could go to that, it puts it in there. You can go to 4 to 4, or you can look at the criteria, which, you know, when you're using a new rubric, you're probably going to have to. But, you know, you can click on that and say, okay, on this, they got that. Great. Materials, they did this. And it will put all the points in there for you. It tells you that they have 10 out of 12. And then you could pop that in for their grade if you want to grade through Google Classroom. And then you could return it to the student. And that's it. So that's how you use rubrics in Google Classroom for grading student work, and it just should make your workflow for your grading workflow and your making assignment workflow a little bit, actually a lot easier, I would think, for at least what it is in my case. So just let me know if you have any questions about that, and happy grading.